Hi, Sarah here from the UKHC team. Today I am joined by Greg McColl. Greg is a hypnotherapist, coach and trainer of NLP, hypnosis and communication. Welcome, Greg.
Hello, good morning.
So your presentation is no fluff, no magic wands or hoo-ha, remembering you already know how to do this. I love the title. Can you explain a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a working title, but it kind of stuck. Yeah, it's an exploration of the current sort of climate that we're in. And I say the current climate, but it's actually been building for a long, long time, of tools, techniques, protocols, guaranteed results, packages of things that we see out there that have been building for 20, 30 years, really. And actually, what underpins them is generally things that we already know how to do, but we haven't necessarily mastered.
Okay, yeah. So do you think that, why do you think there is such a fascination with the quick fix protocols and the like?
Why is there a fascination with quick fix protocols? One of the main things that's come out of writing this is it's all about confidence, really.
Okay.
I think that when you look at the tools, the protocols, the techniques, they're not bad in and of themselves. Some of them are absolutely fantastic. Some of them work really, really well and are really, really great. But it helps to give us a structure and a certainty and a sort of formula for doing things, which helps us to feel more confident about what we're doing, what we're applying.
Yeah. And
we should already have that confidence, because we have mastered the basic skills that underpin most of these things. Yeah. So I think the fascination for people is, how do I get that guaranteed result? So that pressure when the client comes to see me, how can I be sure that they walk out the door with a solution? And it's got to be a first-time solution, and it's got to be done quickly, because this is the world that we live in now. Everything's instant. How do I have a selection of tools in my arsenal that I can apply to this person to guarantee that I get that result? So there's a pressure and a confidence thing there. So I think that's the main attraction.
Yeah, and I think clients do come to see us and want us to wave our magic wand to fix them, and I guess there ends up being a pressure to fulfill their expectations.
Yeah. I think it's such a strange thing, because it's often quoted. We all talk about Ericksonian and the Milton model and all these kinds of things, but we forget that Erickson used to take tens and tens and tens of sessions with people. But I think commercial pressures in our marketplace and the client expectations is we have to do it. We have to do it quickly, and it has to be one session fixed. It's a real pressured thing. So I think people search for that confidence and that certainty in the tools, the protocols, because it gives them that structure and that guaranteed solution.
And do you think when we use these kind of protocols and even scripts that we become reliant on them?
It's an interesting idea, because again, during the process of writing this, I started to realize that the sort of rabbit hole nature of, well, if I use this, why am I using that? I've chosen this, so it's obviously, is it comfortable for me? Does it reflect a bias in me? And so we end up gravitating towards the things that we either think are effective with, or maybe we've had good results with before, or fit our personality, or something else that's not client-based. It's based on our thing. And so again, that's where I think if you come back to the basics of calibration and rapport and all the things that aren't as sexy and as fashionable, and you actually do the whole do with rather than do to process, it's going to be far more effective. So we do become reliant on these things because of our comfort and our own biases and choices.
Definitely, yeah. And I know that when I first qualified as a hypnotherapist, I used scripts a lot because I felt that I had a lack of confidence in what I was doing. But I quickly become very reliant on the scripts to the point where I lacked confidence in my abilities. They held me back. And I think that they have a place, but it's getting that balance, isn't it?
And I think there's a whole thing about time and experience. I think with script, they're a useful crutch when you start, and they serve a purpose. But you reach a certain point, and that only comes with time and experience. You go, hang on a minute, this script's the same as this script with just a slight change, and you begin to see that actually, in and of themselves, they're kind of a protocol, because they have a beginning, they have a middle, they have an end, they have a certain structure to them. And all you're generally changing is a little bit of the language and the focus of it. But it is necessary, again, in our industry. It can be a challenge when you don't have a constant stream of clients to get that experience, to build that confidence. And we don't have that time necessarily to, well, I'm going to experiment on Mrs. Jones today, and I'm going to spend 3 hours just trying a bit of this or that, or I'll throw in a bit of this, because we've got to get that result for them. So we don't have that luxury to freestyle.
Yeah. And as you say, it's easier to freestyle when you understand the component parts and the mechanisms behind those scripts, those protocols. But that comes with the experience, and it does serve a positive purpose. It's not a bad thing. But like all tools and protocols and techniques aren't bad things. They give us something. But actually, if we had a really strong core basic skill mastery, all that means is that I'm going to deliver these tools better. So in your presentation, you're seeking to remind those that are present that they already know how to help their clients without needing those protocols, just relying on their core skills that they already know.
Again, it's one of these things that we spend, or we don't spend, or seem to spend enough time really refining and instilling and mastering and really consolidating the things that we learn. We learn them, we've got the certificate, great, what's next? I'll book on that course. And we don't seem to spend a lot of time really saying, you know what, I'm going to spend 4 months just working on revivification, or I'm going to spend 4 months just concentrating on the Milton model. And setting those things up, it's almost like the learning is well, I've learned that. Tick. But do you know it? Well, I learned it. I got my certificate. And so it's really it's not in the knowing, it's in the doing. And that application again and again, and understanding it, and really understanding why we do these things and what these things are. And taking the time again, just those real basic things. Master them. Until you notice the people that are really good in our industry, nothing that they do is complicated. Really simple. And it's elegant, and it's wonderful to watch. And that's generally the thing with mastery. It looks really simple. And usually behind it, the underpinnings of it are really simple, but they understand it and they've taken time to master it.
So is there anything else that you want to add about what your presentation entails?
It's actually interesting. Well, I think it's interesting that actually how I started off at the beginning of this presentation, what I was going to talk about is still the same. But I've actually had a major change of mind and position on what I thought about these things. So I started off last November after speaking to Adam and having a bit of a rant about things. And now my position has completely changed, and my attitude has completely changed to these things. And so in my talk, actually, I'm going to explain and talk about that change of thought, that journey that took me through the realization of, hang on a minute, what's actually going on here?
Yeah, interesting.
And then we're going to look at, okay, so what are perhaps some ways that we can look at building those or replacing the things that the tools and the structures and the protocols give us? How can we generate that in ourselves by practicing and applying things, and some suggestions about how you can go about doing that, and areas to focus on that would help you to be able to master these things.
Yeah, excellent. So you're speaking on the Sunday at 10:45 a.m. in the Windsor Room.
I am.
So for those who are interested in Greg's talk and haven't bought their tickets yet, you can head on over to the website at ukhypnosisconvention.co.uk. It's less than a month away now.
It is. I better get on with my third and fourth draft of my talk.
Excellent. Yeah, so all exciting. Thank you, Greg. It's been really great chatting with you.
No, thank you.
And see you.
In 3.5 or 4 weeks or whenever it is. 4 weeks. Yeah, it's 4 weeks. 4 weeks today, isn't it?
Pretty much. So
yeah, because the Thursday, the training starts, and then the conference on the Friday.
Yeah, wonderful. All right then. Thanks very much.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.